I absolutely whacked my head this morning and I thought that was going to completely stop me from doing this, but thankfully it's like gone down a lot and I'm still alive, so it's fine. But yeah, it was a pretty enormous lump on my head. I kind of just hit it and I was like, well, that hurt, and then carried on with my life, then suddenly caught my reflection and I was like, what is that on my forehead? It's huge. Anyway, put some peas on my head and it's all fine. So I thought I would do a video on, well, basically yesterday I could not decide what to read. I was in the middle of reading a non-fiction book but didn't really feel like reading that, so I thought, okay, let's start something new. And usually I find it fairly easy to pick something, and usually I have something kind of in mind that I might read next, but this time around I was like, I literally have no idea. So I thought I would enlist an assistant to help me decide what to read. So my girlfriend was off sick yesterday, so this was a great task to keep her occupied for a while. So let me show you the books. First up we've got this little Terry Pratchett book, which is Sorcery. I'm currently trying to make my way through these books in publication order, so I think this is like the 5th one. I think I've got the first 10, so this is on my kind of list of things that I do really want to get through. So that was the first thing that I chose, so that's fantasy. Next up I chose a science fiction book, which is Penguin Science Fiction, edited by Brian Aldiss. I actually got this when I was with my girlfriend one day. It's this really, really cool used bookstore in Notting Hill in London, which I love. They've got so many cool things in there. So I thought she may have swayed towards this one. So this is a collection of stories, so it's a bit of an anthology. I love that it says on the inside cover that this is 15p. I definitely paid more than that. And then I quite like inside they've on the contents page the person's like circled certain ones, and I'm wondering if that's because those are the favourite ones or something. But so yeah, I chose that one for science fiction. Next up we've got this modern classic, which is Moon Tiger. So this won the Booker back in the day and then was shortlisted for the Golden Man Booker Prize that's just recently come around. It didn't win, but it was on the shortlist. And this is a writer that I've just been meaning to read. I've never read anything by her, and I'm not sure what it is exactly that's like drawn me towards her, but I would quite like to get to her soon. And then I did get sent this one from the publisher as well quite recently, so I do want to get to it pretty soon-ish, so that's another one that I've chosen. Then for a children's book I chose The Wind in the Willows. So we all kind of know what that's about. Just again, you know, like this clearly shows I literally had no idea what I wanted to read because the mix already is quite vast. And the next one that I picked was this one. So this is really, really short. And there's like a collection of these which I am like completely in love with. So I got this one and I may end up trying to get them all. So these are translated. This is The Girl Who Is Getting Married. Really cool cover. But yeah, a bit of a short one. And then the final one was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban in this illustrated edition. So I haven't read this yet. I mean, I've obviously read Harry Potter, but not this. This is really heavy. I'm off this week, so this is probably quite good to read on a week off because, well, I'm not going to carry this on the bus or the tube or to work, am I? Because it is heavy. So those are the books that I chose, and I sent a picture of them to my girlfriend. I gave her the first sentences of them, and then I sent her the blurbs of each of them. And she came back with best cover, Terry Pratchett or Harry Potter, though I'm a fan of Wind in the Willows and you definitely have to read that at some point for sure. So basically that meant that I gave a point to Sorcery by Terry Pratchett and a point to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban for best covers. And then I gave half a point to The Wind in the Willows just because she casually mentioned it, even though she didn't say anything about the cover, she just wants me to read it. And then for best plot, so what I'm going to do at this point is read what the plots are. So the blurb for this one, so this is Sorcery by Terry Pratchett. There was an 8th son of an 8th son. He was, quite naturally, a wizard, and there it should have ended. However, for reasons we better not get into, he had 7 sons, and then he had an 8th son. A wizard squared, a source of magic, a sorcerer. So that gives her an idea of what the story is. She's read Terry Pratchett before, so she kind of knows what it's like. So that's that one. For the science fiction one, in 1961 man went out into space, but writers of science fiction have been taking him on tours of the universe for years. The submarine, the bathysphere, the aeroplane and the tank are only a few examples of modern achievements which have foreshadowed writers like Jules Verne or artists like Leonardo. The Penguin collection of science fiction stories includes work by John Steinbeck, Isaac Asimov, Eric Frank Russell, Catherine MacLean and Bertrand Chandler. Apart from the increasing possibility of their imagined worlds, either of the future or of other quarters of the universe, these writers command our attention with stories which are freed from the gravitational pull of what we term reality today. Okay, and the blurb from Moon Tiger, but she remains defiant to the last, telling her nurses that she will write a history of the world, and in the process, my own. And it is her story from a childhood just after the First World War through the Second and beyond. But Claudia's life is entwined with others, and she must allow those who knew her, loved her, the chance to speak, to put across their point of view. There is Gordon, brother and adversary, Jasper, her untrustworthy lover and father of Lisa, her cool conventional daughter, and then there is Tom, her one great love, found and lost in wartime Egypt. Moon Tiger is a haunting story of loss and desire. So that's that one. Then we've got, for the girl who is getting married, an unnamed narrator visits her friend, the girl who is getting married, in her apartment on the 5th floor of an anonymous building. With each flight of steps, the narrator recalls different memories of the time they have spent together, their time in high school, their first jobs, a chance encounter on the train. However, just as the building's corridor twists and turns towards the flat, we realise that the story too is shifting under our feet. As details go missing and memories are contradicted, we are left wondering whose eyes we're looking through. And then I didn't send her the blurb for The Wind in the Willows or Harry Potter just because she's read these and knows about them. So for best plot, she went for The Girl Who Is Getting Married. So it's got a point. So far, Terry Pratchett's got a point, The Girl Who's Getting Married gets a point, and Harry Potter gets a point. So the final category that I gave her was to choose her favourite first sentence. So I didn't tell her which sentence matched each book. So certain sentences I altered slightly so that she couldn't guess, and then I got her to choose which was her favourite. So here are the 6 sentences. The first one that I gave her was, he brooded in the darkness and there was no one else. The next one, he was nothing more than a comma in the page of history. Number 3, the girl is on the top floor of the building. Number 4, he had been working hard all morning, spring cleaning his little home. Number 5, he was a highly unusual boy in many ways. Number 6, I'm writing a history of the world, she says. And she came back saying that the best line was number 2 or 3. So number 2 was, he was nothing more than a comma in the page of history, which belongs to Sorcery by Terry Pratchett, meaning Terry Pratchett gets a 2nd point. And the 3rd sentence, and the other one that she said was a favourite, was, the girl is on the top floor of the building, which belongs to the girl who is getting married. So the girl who is getting married gets another point. So at this stage in the game, Moon Tiger, no points. Penguin Science Fiction, no points. The Wind in the Willows, half a point. Harry Potter, 1 point. Terry Pratchett, Sorcery, 2 points. And The Girl Is Getting Married, 2 points. So we're left with these two kind of tied. So then I sat for a good 20 minutes trying to figure out a way in which I could help her to like choose between these two. And we always sit down, anytime I get new books, we always sit down together and she looks at them. So she always looks at the cover, the back, and she always reads the first sentence. And then she always reads the last sentence, which is just so against everything that I believe in. But I was trying to think of it like a different way, but I kind of had to break my own rules for this. And I gave her the last sentence of each of these. So the 2 sentences that I gave her, so number 1, there would always be another morning. And number 2, inside the empty room there was a muffled sound of the door being locked. And she chose number 2, so inside the empty room there was a muffled sound of the door being locked. So the winner was this one, The Girl Who Is Getting Married. So I was quite pleased with the outcome of this because this is probably my favourite cover. Favourite first sentence, favourite last sentence, and the blurb itself definitely sounds the most interesting as well. It's got an unnamed narrator, which I love. I'm quite intrigued. It's also really, really short, meaning as soon as I read this, which is probably going to be in one sitting, I can very quickly then pick up the Terry Pratchett one straight after, or one of the other ones. But given that they were the kind of top 2 out of the little category game that we played, I think I might read that after. So yes, I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. Actually, I'm just going to like go and read this immediately. It's just so beautifully published as well. I love it. So yeah, can't wait to see what this is like. I'm quite pleased with the outcome. And I just thought I would share with you the little process that I go through sometimes whenever I try to choose books. Anyway, it's been nice chatting to you. Sorry for my lack of involvement and engagement within the community recently. Again, I feel like I'll get back into this eventually. I think I'm just going to go through these phases where sometimes I'm really into it and other times when I'm really not. We'll see. I'm here today. So, hi and bye.